Good morning, this is Mom Ace and welcome again to Mom Ace Curious Mind. Summer na naman, class! Anong napansin nyo? Yes, mainit na naman, lalong-lalo na kung ang hot ng teacher nyo. At mas lalo pa nating painitin ang summer sapagkat itatakel natin ngayong araw ang heat. Napakadaming beses na nating ginamit ang salitang heat. Minsan nga ina-associate natin ang salitang heat sa hot. At madalas mo ang sinasabi ang salitang ang hot ko naman. Ano ka, apoy? Pero alam ba natin talaga kung ano ang kahulugan ng heat? Ngayong araw na ito ay malalaman mo na kung ano ang heat at ano ang mga process upang mai-transfer ang heat. Kaya makinig ng mabuti kay Ma'am Ace. Bago natin simulan ang ating discussion about heat, let's first have and answer our learning task number 1. Okay, for learning task number 1, we will have a word hunt. Ibig sabihin, maghahanap tayo ng mga salitang connected or associated sa salitang heat. Ready na ba? Simulan na natin. Okay, class. So now we will start to answer our learning task number 1, which is the word hunt. Okay, so we have here thermometer, and then we have temperature, we have sun, energy, and fire. Okay, so those are the words that are all connected to heat. Okay, so we already now able to answer our learning task number 1. So we can now go on with our discussion of the 3 ways of the heat transfer. But before that, let's start our discussion with this quotation. Okay, so when you can't make them see the light, make them feel the heat. Okay, so ano po inyong naramdaman or ano yung naisip nyo nung binasa nyo tong quotation na ito? By Ronald Reagan. Okay, so nagpapakahulugan lang siya na kung hindi natin kayang makita or kung ang isang tao ay walang mata upang makita ang araw or ang light, pwede natin itong ipadama sa kanila. Para nga itong sinasabing na hindi lang kailangan mong makita na mahal ka ng isang tao. Ang mas mahalaga ay kung papaano mo ito na ipadama sa isang tao na mahal mo ang isang tao. Okay po. And then next, let's first and have now our discussion of heat. Okay, so heat is a form of energy that flows from one substance to another that is at a lower temperature. Thus, heat and temperature are related but not the same. So, ibig sabihin, ang heat daw at temperature ay magkaugnay, pero hindi sila iisa. Okay, since heat is a form of energy, its standard unit is joule with the capital J. Okay, so heat always moves from a warmer place to a cooler place. So, lagi natin tandaan na ang heat daw po ay nagmo-move from warmer sa mainit papunta sa malamig na lugar. Okay. And then, hot objects in a cooler room will cool to room temperature. Ibig sabihin po niyan, yun daw pong maiinit na mga bagay kapag iniwan mo sa isang malamig na lugar ay magiging katulad din ng temperature nung lugar na yun kung saan mo man siya iniwan. For example nga, kapag nag-iwan tayo ng kape, di ba kapag iniwan natin yung kape sa table, let's say, ang temperature ng kape or ng boiling water na nilagay natin sa kape ay 100 degree Celsius. Now, kapag iniwanan natin dyan ng matagal na oras or minuto, ano mangyayari sa kape? Okay, di ba? Lalamig siya. Kasi magiging katulad siya ng temperature ng room or the room temperature or kung nasaan ka man or kung naka-aircon yung room mo. So, magiging katulad ng temperature ng aircon. Kung ilang temperature man yung aircon na buhay. Okay, and next, katulad din ng cold objects, when we put it in a warmer room, it will heat up to room temperature. So, anong katulad niyan? For example, iniwan mo ang ice cream sa lamesa. So, malamig yan nung iniwan mo. And then, it is in a form of solid. Pero nung hindi mo siya kinain agad, iniwan mo siya ng mga isang oras, anong nangyari? Natunaw siya. So, naging na siyang liquid. And kung titingnan mo, ang temperature ng liquid na yun, magiging katulad din siya ng temperature ng environment kung nasaan man siya. Okay? And then, ayan po ang halimbawa niyan, yung pong ice cream na natunaw and then yung coffee na lumamig. Let's now tackle the transfer of heat. Okay, so ano-ano ba yung tatlo na way para makapag-transfer tayo ng heat? Okay, so una, meron tayong conduction, convection, and radiation. Let's first tackle conduction. Okay, based dyan sa nandiang diagram or sa picture na yan, anong napansin nyo? Okay, di ba? Mayroong direct contact. Bigla mong hinawakan yung mainit na pan. So, anong mangyayari? Siyempre, re-register sa utak mo na mainit, kaya bibitaw ka. Di ba? Kapag nahihirapan ka na, nasasaktan ka na, bibitaw ka na. Okay. So, let's define conduction. So, conduction is the transfer of heat between substances that are in direct contact with each other. The better the conductor, the more rapidly heat will be transferred. Ibig sabihin, class, kapag sinabing conduction, there is a direct contact. For example, hinawakan mo yung nakipag-holding hands ka sa jowa mo. So, there is a direct contact. Mararamdaman mo yung init ng kanyang kamay. And then, sabi dito, the better the conductor, the more rapidly heat will be transferred. Kapag daw, mas maganda yung conductor, ay mas madali matatransfer ang heat. So, ano ba yung mga conductor of heat? Yes, ang example po niyan ay yung mga metal. Diba kapag nagluluto tayo gamit natin ay yung metal na sandok. After, iwanan mo yung sandok na metal. Tapos, sapat. Tapos, after 1 hour, di ba, ang feeling natin, ang init na nung ating metal na hawak. So, yun po, natatransfer yung heat kapag metal. Pero, kapag ginamit naman natin ay yung sandok na gawa sa kahoy, hindi natin nararamdaman yung init. Dahil siya po ay an insulator. So, katulad ng plastic, ng cloth, kaya nga tayo gumagamit ng mga cloth pag itataas na natin yung ating mga niluto para hindi natin maramdaman yung init. So, conductors are those metals and then those insulators are the wood or cloth and plastic. Okay? And then, let's now discuss convection. So, ano naman ba ang convection? So, convection, it is the movement in a gas or liquid in which the warmer parts move up and the colder parts move down. So, ibig sabihin, yun daw pong mga may init na liquid or gas, ang kanilang tendency lagi ay pumunta sa pataas. And then, yun daw pong mga colder liquid or gas, ang tendency lagi niya ay papuntang baba. Okay, so itaka natin yan po ng mas malinaw sa next po. Okay, katulad po niyan. For example, convection. Papansin po natin, meron tayong pan, tayo nagbo-boil ng water. So, dyan po sa pinakang taas, makikita natin na kulay blue. which indicates na malamig pa yan, or ang temperature niya ay katulad ng environment. For example, ang temperature natin ay 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. Yan yung temperature ng nasa taas. And then, kung mapapansin naman natin yung baba, siya ay kulay red. Which means, ang part na baba ay mainit. And then, pansinin niyo po yung molecules, mabibilis ang galaw nila dahil kapag po may heat, ay nabilis po yung movement ng ating mga molecules. Okay, so ano napansin nyo dun sa arrow? Yung arrow na sa taas, dyan po sa may kulay blue, pababa siya. So, ibig sabihin, ano nga kapag, malamig ba siya or mainit kapag pababa? So, ayun, colder liquid or gas moves down. And then, remember, kapag naman daw pataas, warmer liquid or gas moves up. So, ayan po ang direksyon niya. Ibig sabihin, kapag pala tayo nagpapainit ng tubig, kapag malamig, napunta siya sa baba, and then, kapag mainit na siya, pupunta na siya sa taas, and then paikot-ikot lang hanggang sa ma-reach niya yung boiling point na 100 degree Celsius. Okay? And then next, okay, ito po yung example natin na ang sabi ay warmer gas moves up. So, di ba, wala naman tayong nakita na usok na pumuntang ibaba. Kasi di ba, ang usok usually ay mainit. And lagi yung pataas. And another concept is that our freezer in the refrigerator. So, di ba, kaya siya nilagay sa taas ay dahil ang movement ng colder gas ay mag-move down. So, kaya siya nilagay sa taas para palamigin yung mga nasa baba. Okay? So, yan yung purpose kung bakit nakalagay usually ang freezer sa taas. Pero hindi naman lahat ng ref. Kasi ngayon, may mga ref na rin na ang freezer ay nasa baba. Pero I think more efficient yung role ng freezer kung ilalagay mo siya sa taas. Since, ang sinabi ko nga kanina na ang colder gas ay laging papuntang baba. Okay, and then, for the experiment of showing you the movement of the warmer and colder liquid, I will show you a video for convection experiment.
First step, 5 to 6 drops of the red color. Ako naman, blue. And then, bubuhos natin yung tubig. Ulit tayo, Rod.
Paano
Excuse
yan?
me? Okay. So, next na gagawin ko, tatakpan ko lang muna. Blue, cover the top. Ipapatong ko siya dito sa ibabaw ng baso na nasa loob. And then, itawan ko siya. Next, yung red. Ilulubog ko siya.
Maghahalo na yan! Yung upper part, color red.
Oo nga eh.
Yung lower part, color blue.
Mm.
I believe!
Dahil magkaiba ang temperature ng tubig sa dalawang bote, magkaiba rin ang kanilang density. Ang tubig sa aquarium ay nasa room temperature at ang average density nito ay nasa 1 gram per cubic meter. Mainit na tubig ang laman ng boteng nilagyan ng pulang food coloring. Ang mainit na red water ay naging less dense at mas magaan sa tubig sa aquarium. Kaya ito, lumutang pataas. Ang molecules naman na may halong blue food color ay malamig. Naging mas mabigat ito kaysa sa tubig sa loob ng aquarium, kaya ito lumubog papaba. Ang paggalaw ng mainit at malamig na tubig ay tinatawag na convection. I believe.
Okay, so we are now done in watching the convection experiment for the warm and cold liquid. Let us now move on to our third transfer of heat, which is the radiation. So class, we all know that radiation comes from our sun. And then, let's define radiation. So the radiation is the process in which energy is transferred by means of electromagnetic waves. Okay, so ito po yung mga nararamdaman lang natin na init coming from the sun, pero hindi natin sila nakikita. Okay, and that is one of the most important way para tayo makasurvive. Kailangan natin ng init ng sun. Kahit siya'y walang direct contact, dahil imagine, class, kung may direct contact ang sun, hindi pa yan nakakadating ng earth, ay patay na tayong lahat dahil sobrang init niyan. Okay? Let's have a recap of the three transfer of heat. We have conduction, convection, and radiation. So again, when we say conduction, energy is transferred by direct contact. And convection, energy is transferred by the mass motion of molecules, in which, again, warm liquid or gas moves up and cold liquid or gas moves down. And then radiation, energy is transferred by electromagnetic radiation. Okay, now, you are ready to answer your learning task number 2. Now, you know the three ways of heat transfer, which is the conduction, convection, and radiation. Now, you are ready to answer learning task number 2. Ano ang gagawin sa learning task number 2? Okay, for learning task number 2, you need to analyze each picture and identify what type of heat transfer is happening in the picture. So, there could be more than one answer in each picture. You just need to check the circle at the side of each picture if it is included in conduction, convection, and radiation.
Let's answer. Okay, so for the first photo, which is the snowman, the right answer is radiation because it melts because of the heat coming from the sun. For the next one, the answer is convection and radiation. Yun pong may boiling water. Dahil yung pong boiling water ay convection and then yung radiation ay yung init na nararamdaman ng room habang nagbo-boil yung tubig. And for the third one, the girl which is sunbathing is an example of radiation because she gets the heat from the sun. And the fourth one, the guy who is cooking an egg, is an example of conduction and radiation. It is conduction because the guy is directly holding the pan using his hands, so there is a direct contact. While radiation because while he was cooking, he also feels the heat coming from the stove. Now, for the fifth one, the guy whose tongue is stick in the pole is an example of conduction because he can really feel the coldness of the pole directly. And for the last picture, that is a guy and a girl holding hands. So that is conduction because there is a direct contact from one person to another.
For learning task number 3, I will show you an illustration in which you will circle 3 situations that will show the transfer of heat or any method that is connected to transfer of heat, which are the conduction, convection, and radiation.
You need to observe here the processes that includes the radiation, convection, and conduction. Now, you need to supply the answers for this table. So for the description, you will describe what is the situation that you observe. And then, for the next one, which object gives off heat, and then which object receives heat. And last, what is the method of heat transfer? So it can be conduction, convection, and radiation. Let us now give our answer. So these are the sample answers. For description, we have broiling of fish, And then which object gives off heat? It is the flame. And then which object receives heat? It is the fish. And what is the method of heat transfer? That is convection or conduction. For number 2, we have the melting ice cream. Which object gives off heat? The sun. Which object receives heat? The ice cream. And what is the method of heat transfer? That is the radiation. For number 3, we have steam coming out of the kettle with boiling water. So which object gives off heat? That is the boiling water. And which object receives heat? That is the air above. And what is the method of heat transfer? So that is convection.
Now, for learning task number 4, I will show you a diagram of a thermos bottle. So alam mo ba kung para saan ang thermos at kung saan siya gawa? So ito yung task na kailangan mong isipin kung para saan ang mga materials ng thermos. At kung bakit nga ba napapanatiling nito ang kainitan ng tubig or kalamigan ng tubig na ating inilalagay sa thermos bottle.
Okay, so we have here the thermos bottle. So at the top, we have the stopper made of plastic or cork. And then we have silvered inner and outer glass wall. Also, we have the vacuum between inner and outer wall, and the outer casing made of plastic or metal. And lastly is the ceramic base. Okay, so now the task is to write the purpose of each parts of the thermos. Okay, so let us now answer. For the stopper or the cork, it is a good insulator of heat that prevents heat loss by conduction. And then the purpose of the silvered inner and outer glass is that it retains heat inside the bottle, reflects heat that escapes, and prevents heat loss by radiation. And for the vacuum, it prevents heat to transfer to the other wall, prevents heat loss by conduction and convection. For the outer casing, made of plastic or metal, it retains heat inside. While for the ceramic base, it conducts heat poorly and prevents heat loss by conduction.
For learning task number 5. Okay, your task is to be a composer and a singer. Yes, you heard it right. You will be a singer for today because you will create a song about the transfer of heat. And you need to post it on YouTube. And we will never know. Maybe you're the next superstar.
Let's watch a sample of the song about heat transfer.
Conduction connects, it's a collision, connection to it, heat off fluid movement, and radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic, conduction connects, it's a collision, connection to it, heat off fluid movement, and radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic.
Yeah, okay, that three ways that he can transfer traveling in waves to lower temperatures as heated will flow from hotter objects to cold the atoms and molecules they move. Heat energy is formed, conduction connected to objects collision. Heat flows into the warm and to the cooler object. Molecules are moving, this process continuing until the temperature is the same in both the objects.
Still moving molecules are warm, give off energy. The cold and slower molecules accept until they're matching. Good conductors like metal transfer heat more rapidly. Careful of your kettle when you make tea. Conduction connects, it's heat by collision. Connection fluid, heat by fluid movement, and radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic, conduction connects, it's heat by collision, connection fluid, heat by fluid movement, and radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic.
Yeah, Next, he can transfer. Transfer is through convection. It's when gases and liquids are been most efficient. Effective, the warm parts of the gas liquid rise up. Cooler areas take place up. Like boiling water, those bubbles are hotter replaced with the cooler ones. Next up, radiation. Like a medium. Heat passes through a wave like a deadened heat from the sun. From radio to gamma, all waves across the spectrum. Heat waves come on my planet since it's cooler than the sun.
Another example, when there's a fire, you sit in front and use the radiating fire heat to warm your hands up. High energy electrons fall down to lower levels. The energy absorbed electrons, they jump up. Conduction connects, it's feedback collision. Connection to wave, heat by fluid movement. And radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic. Conduction connects, it's heat by collision. Connection to wave, heat by fluid movement. And radiation is electromagnetic. It's electromagnetic.
Thank you, class, for listening and understanding the topic heat. So I hope that you learned something and that you will share it to others. And I hope that you treasure every knowledge that you gain and apply it to real life situation. Thank you and God bless.